Nowadays, one of the most famous saying is that size doesn't matter. In fact, they say it's not about how big it is, but how you use it. But imagine having the size, then the performance to go with it. That's how the Viltrox makes you feel. When I first saw this lens and its price, I first thought this was another cheap lens claiming to just be as good as the G Master. But then I watched a few reviews and they were all saying the same thing. This lens compares with the G Master 135. That's the Sony G Master 135 in almost every way and for less than half the price. So just like any other photographer, I got curious, and since I recently bought the Sony A7R5, I reached out to Viltrox to ask if I could try out the lens. The Sony A7R5 is probably the best camera to use to test out this lens because of its high megapixels. Now, Viltrox did agree to send me the lens, and they asked me if I could make an Instagram video showing me using the lens and the results at the end. So they didn't ask for a YouTube review, no money exchanged hands in the making of this video, and they don't get to see this video before it's posted. I've had this lens for under a month and used it on 2 photo shoots so far. So this review is based on my experience with this lens in that period of time. I'll definitely make an updated video in the coming months once I've used this lens a lot more. And also, since I mostly shoot portraits, this lens will focus on how it performs in that area. When it comes to lenses, there are a few things that I look at as a professional portrait photographer. It's the sharpness, the autofocus, the color rendition, and the build quality. So let's start with the build quality. This lens is built like a tank. It's made from a combination of magnesium alloy and some plastic, but overall, it feels really premium. It has a rubberized focus ring that feels really great, and a clickable and declickable aperture that is super smooth and really satisfying to use. There's also an MF/AF switch, a focus limiter switch, and 2 customizable buttons. To be honest, I never use customizable buttons, but they're still nice to have, and it's just good to have them here in case I need to use that in future. One feature that stands out though on this lens is the color LCD screen. The display is similar to the one on the Zeiss Batis 135mm lens, but that lens is over $2,300 and 3 times the price of the Viltrox lens, and that lens is also a 2.8 at its lower aperture. You can see your focus distance, focus mode, and aperture setting on the LCD screen, and even customize it by putting an image there, which a lot of people have gotten creative with. I'll probably never have anything there or put any image there, but if that's your thing, go ahead. You might impress your clients by having this lens that has a screen that looks really 2024 and looks really modern. It's a cool feature to have, though I have to admit that it's a little gimmicky as it really does nothing, but still, I'd rather have it than not have it. Overall, the build quality is pretty impressive considering the price. I wasn't expecting it to feel this good, and I was pleasantly surprised when I pulled out the box at first, like I said earlier on. Speaking about the box, the packaging deserves mentioning too. The branding is on point with a sleek blacked out design, and the lens also comes with a nice leather-like pouch. Now, I doubt this is real leather, but it feels really good, and it's always good to have. Talk about value for your money. The Viltrox 135 lab lens has 11 aperture blades with 14 elements in 9 group. This just means that the bokeh out of this lens is seriously impressive and the quality is really good. You'd have to compare the quality of this lens to lenses that are in the $2,000 to $2,500 range, maybe even up to $3,000. This lens reminds me of my 85mm from Canon, and that's the RF version, and that lens is almost $3,000. That's how good this lens is. This lens is impressively sharp at 1.8, and if you photograph people that have a lot of blemishes, this lens is probably not the best lens for you, and that's because this lens, like I said, is really sharp and those blemishes will be very visible. But anyways, I love sharp lenses. So now we're in capture 1 and I want to show you guys the images from the last 2 photo shoots I did with the Viltrox 135 1.8 lab lens. As you guys can see, this image on the left is tack sharp, as we have zoomed in 300% and you can see almost every detail on her face. That's how sharp this lens is. It literally resolves every single detail on your subject's face. And that's what I was telling you guys earlier on, that if you are somebody that shoots portraits and you don't want to do a lot of editing, then this might probably not be the lens for you. But if you are really into retouching like I am, and you want to see detail when you're shooting, then this lens is probably perfect for you. So right here on this part of the screen, if I do zoom in, you can see the focus is locked on the eye. Now, not every shot was in focus, obviously. I'll probably say my rate was probably about 70% or 80%, but this is really good. good. Now the lens is so sharp that even when you miss focus by a bit, the image still looks usable. So what I'm going to do is just look for another image right here. As you guys can see, this is a little bit darker, and it was meant to struggle to find focus here, which it did, in some images, but this one is sharp, and as you guys can see, tack sharp. Remember, this is at 300%. Yes, the A7R5 does help out a lot because it's 61 megapixel camera, but I have had other lenses on my body that have not been this sharp, but this lens is tack sharp. So we'll look at that image again. You guys can see extremely sharp. Now, all these images I'm showing you are probably shot or were shot at like f5. So this f5, this f5, this f5. So the sweet spot of this lens is between f4 to f5. That's when you get like all the sharpness, the color, everything really, really sharp. What if you were shooting at f1.8? So let's look at a few images that I did shoot at f1.8. So right here, I have an image that was shot at f1.8 with the same lens. As you guys can see, at 1.8, this lens is really sharp. And once again, like I said, if you have a subject that has blemishes, you have to be very careful with this lens if you're not interested in doing a ton of retouching. Remember, these are portraits, almost full length portraits that I'm zooming into 200%, and you can see how sharp this lens is. The color is also really good, and one thing I noticed is vignetting is really, really controlled on this lens. Now, I can't speak too much for chromatic aberrations and all that stuff, but with the reviews or the other reviews I've seen, they say it's pretty good, but I barely take my lenses outside to just shoot anything that, it's not portraits, but it actually seems pretty controlled. Now, this is at f7, that's under, f-stop, basically higher. So you guys can see, extremely sharp. Now, the crazy thing is that when it comes to the sharpness, you literally can barely see this, like the difference between f7 and f1.8. That's how crazy sharp this lens is. And I know I'm just going on and on about how sharp it is. It is really sharp. And like I said, I really love the colors out of this lens. Now, I'm just going to show you guys this real quick. For me, I love when my image has a low vignette in it. But with this lens, it's so controlled that you really can't see that, right? And then, the person I am is that I really love putting vignettes in my image. So I'm going to show you guys the before, this the before, and this the after. Before, after. Yes, I did some of that editing, but for the most part, I like to bring that in because I feel like it separates my subjects from the background. But it's nice that this lens has limited amount of vignetting. That way you can actually now put the right amount in post. But overall, I think it's an absolutely gorgeous lens and really, really sharp. The compression out of a 135mm lens is always amazing. So if you pair that with the sharpness of this lens, the color rendition, the bokeh at 1.8, the overall images that you get out of this lens will be very, very impressive, especially if you know what you're doing. I cannot rave enough about how beautiful the images that come out of these lenses are. And like I said, you barely see any vignetting. Now you can add a little bit in post, like I'll do, but it is a pretty well-rounded lens. The autofocus on this lens works great, but I'm not expecting G Master level performance for this lens. I do not need the fastest autofocus lens in the world because I'm a portrait photographer. It's a pretty slow niche. I do not shoot super fast moving subjects. It's always a meticulous process. I set up my lights, pose my clients, focus on the eyes, take the shots. I do not need people running around the studio or any location that I'm shooting with. This lens actually exceeds my expectations when it comes to that. The focus is fast, snappy, and it sticks to my subject. And you guys know the eye autofocus thing sticks and it stays there. And I honestly do not need more than that. If you shoot a lot of fast moving subject, then you might be better off going to buy the Sony G Master, that's the 135mm G Master, or other fast lenses that are made from first party manufacturers. But if you're a portrait or wedding photographer, this lens will not disappoint you. The focus speed and accuracy are definitely not best in class, but it's more than enough for me. Now let's talk about improvements. What do I think Viltrox can improve in the future when they are working on a version 2 of this lens? Now, I know this lens is built like a tank and build quality is really solid, but this lens is big and heavy. Probably the heaviest 135mm in its class. It reminds me of a 70-200 lens, and I really do not like the 70-200s, and it's basically because of their size. Cameras are getting smaller, and when the lens is big and heavy on the small body, it makes it feel kind of weird and doesn't really feel balanced in your hands. This is not a deal breaker for me in any way, but I just wanted to point it out. Another thing is the 135 focal length is really niche. You do not understand how long that focal length is until you put it on your camera. It requires a lot of space, but this goes for all 135mm lenses, not just the Viltrox lens. So this is not a Viltrox problem. Overall, this lens is solid, and at $799, if you shoot portraits and love the 135mm focal length, it's a no-brainer. I love the colors, the sharpness, the autofocus performance, the look of this lens, and the build quality. I think Viltrox definitely has a winner on its hands, and I can't wait to see what they will bring in the future when it comes to full-frame lenses. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you've done your research and you're sure you'd like to purchase this lens, please use the link in the description below. I definitely get a tip from it. But hey, you know, if you don't want to give a YouTuber money and you really love this lens, then you can get it from anywhere you want to get it and enjoy using your lens. I think this is an amazing lens for the price, and I'll definitely be using it for most of my portrait shoots moving forward. But thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, please like, share, subscribe. My name is Prince Mason, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing week. Peace out, guys.